Good morning, everybody. Today we are talking about multiplying and dividing integers for our quick check, or fractions for our quick check, and then we'll be jumping into some word problems. So first thing I want you to do is pause the video, work out all of these problems. You don't need to copy the whole thing, just do each problem in your notebook. These first two are both multiplication. All right, ready, set, go. Okay, now that you've done the problems, we are going to kind of just go through them. So multiplication, pretty straightforward. We just multiply numerators, multiply denominators. So here we're doing 5 times 2. Here we're doing 9 times 3. 5 times 2 on the top gives me 10. 9 times 3 on the bottom gives me 27. And these can't be simplified. Neither of these have a common factor, so we just are done. Next one, now these are a little bit bigger numbers, and this is where we can do that simplification first. So what we'd be doing is 3 times 16 on the top and 8 times 21 on the bottom. But we can look for common factors on the top and bottom and see if we can simplify. So you might notice 8 and 16 have a common factor of 8. So I'm going to divide out an 8 from both those. And also, 3 and 21 have a common factor of 3, so I'm going to divide out 3 before we even multiply. Now, my new problem is going to be a lot simpler. So 3 divided by 3 gives me just 1, and then 16 divided by 8 would be 2, over 8 divided by 8 is 1, times 21 divided by 3 is 7. So then I end up as just 2 over 7 as my simplified answer. Okay, last one says test practice. They're just kind of trickier questions that have a little bit more involved. So 7/8 of the students at Mapledale Middle School participate in extracurricular activities. So that'd be 7/8. Of these, 3/4 or 3/4 participate in team sports. What fraction of students at Mapledale Middle School participate in team sports? So this is a problem that we are going to set up. So we're doing 7 times 3 over 8 times 4, which gives me 21 over 32 as my simplified answer. So we would say 21 30-seconds of the students do team sports. Don't forget, if it was a word problem, you need to write your answer as a sentence. Okay, now we're going to jump into some word problems. So what we're learning today is multiplying and dividing fractions in real-world problems. That's kind of our big key here. So we need to talk about when do we multiply, when do we divide. All right, first question says, the first hill on a roller coaster is 225 feet tall. The first drop on another roller coaster is about 11/20 as tall as the first coaster. Find the height of the hill on the second roller coaster. What we're going to do is multiplication. So pause the video, write down all the stuff you need to write down. Okay, so the problem we're doing is 255 times 11 over 20. Remember, this number, 255, doesn't have a denominator, so we're just going to make a denominator of 1 to solve that. So, don't forget, if you have a whole number, you just put it over 1 to work it out in a fraction. Now we're going to multiply 255 times 11 to get our numerator. So we get 2805, and then 1 times 20 is just 20 on the bottom. Now, again, just like always, we want to simplify this to get, our most simplified answer. So I'm going to see what I can divide those both by. My first guess would be 5 because they both end in 5. And these are kind of big numbers, so I don't know much about them. So 2805 divided by 5 gives me 561 over 20 divided by 5 is 4. Let's see, 561 is not divisible by 4 or 2, so really this would be our simplified answer. In this case, though, I think probably writing it as a decimal would make more sense because we're talking about how high the roller coaster is. So 561/4 doesn't really give me a lot of information. So let's write that as a decimal by doing the division. So 561 divided by 4 is 140.25. So we are, this would be our simplified answer. So again, write our sentence. So the height of the hill on the second coaster is 140.25 feet tall. So this was a multiplication problem where we used fractions. Okay, next question. Okay, so again, pause your video and try your best to work out this problem. Very similar to the one we just did. Ready, set, go. Okay, now that you worked it out, let's see if you got it right. So we're going to multiply 784, we'll write it over 1 times 5/8. So we get 784 times 5 is 3920 over 8. And then if we simplify that, we can divide these actually both by 8, luckily. And we get 490 over 1. And just like how we added a 1 here, we can just take off that 1, because really that just means 490. So Rashid collected $490 last October. Okay, next question. All right, let's read through this one. So Tessa feeds her dog Roscoe 3 3/4 cups of dog food per day. If she buys a bag of food that contains 165 cups, how many days will the bag of food last? So now this one, we're actually going to be using division because we have 165 cups total and we want to split it by this many days. So kind of just like when we did integer problems, when we're splitting something up evenly, that's how we need to use division. So this is going to be a division problem. So let's set it up. We want to know if we feed 3 3/4 cups per day and we have 165 cups total, how many days is it going to last? So I'm going to start with 165. So we'll have 165, and then since it's not a fraction, we'll write it over 1. Then we're going to divide it by 3 3/4. But remember, we can't use 3 3/4. We need to make it into an improper fraction first. So I'm going to do 3 times 4, which is 12, plus 3 to get 12, 13, 14, 15 over 4. So for my calculation, I'm going to use 15 over 4 for my problem. Now we're doing division, so I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. So 165 over 1 times 4 over 15. Notice how our fraction flipped over here. And then we'll work out our multiplication. So 165 times 4 equals 660 over 15. And then simplify if we can. Luckily, those are both divisible by 15. So I divide them both by 15. And then I'm going to write my answer down here. We get 44 over 1. And remember that equals just 44. So back to the problem. It says, how many days will the bag of dog food last? We'll say the bag of dog food will last 44 days. Okay, next problem. I want you to try this one on your own, similar to the one we just did. Pause the video and work it out. Ready, set, go. Okay, now that you've worked it out, let's see if we got it right. So we're going 238 miles, and then we need to change this into an improper fraction, which is going to be 51 over 2, and we work that out. So 238 times 51 equals wait, we're not doing multiplication though, we're doing division, sorry, my bad. Which means flip, skip, and multiply. So 238 over 1 times 2 over 51. Remember, division means flip that second fraction, multiply by the reciprocal. So 238 times 2 is 476 over 51. And then we could simplify it if we can. Not sure what goes into those two values. Again, right, probably more accurate to give us this information as a decimal. So I'm going to do the division to get 9.33333 repeating. I also know that 3 repeating is 1/3. So really what we're getting is 9 1/3 gallons needed to drive 238 miles. Okay, that is it for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.